I think what people forget about retirement is that really it's a modern day invention in the format. The Romans introduced like a payment for soldiers to get them to go to war. But I think the Industrial Revolution was when basically factory owners said, this guy here is 70 still working on the line and he's very unproductive. We need to put a younger person in there so that they work harder on the machine. And the guy who was 70 was like, I can't afford to stop. I work till I die. So they basically incentivized them to leave. And that's the retirement. And those individuals were broken physically. So they were stopped at retirement. They didn't do any more work. And I think we had this big boom in the 50s with economic output that led to people having retirements where golden years, that kind of branding. And I think a lot of people hold on to that idea and they think they deserve that. But I actually think if you look at people in retirement, my granddad as an example, my mom who recently retired, they go back to work because they desire something. And I think if we say to ourselves, I might be flexible, I might work, it might not be this idea of golden years where I stop, but it's, that can be a positive thing. I don't think it's negative.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And also I think one of the things that maybe people haven't articulated, but I am seeing a lot from like younger individuals I speak to, I've got a few younger clients and so forth, is that I think everyone, the idea of waiting 30 years to enjoy your life, I think is something that most people are struggling to buy.
We've rejected that.
I think we've rejected that.
That's old school thinking.
And if you think about that and why we would reject that, well, basically it's very, very hard for people to get onto the housing ladder. They're having to make serious trade-offs. So live for today, but not at the expense of tomorrow. And I think that's really important because at the end of the day, you don't want to be in a position where you're working all your life. This is what I fundamentally disagree about the FIRE approach, is the financial independence, retire early thing, is a lot of it is born on frugality. And of course, if that's your bag, enjoy it. Of course, I'm not going to tell you how to live. But I don't think it makes as much sense. I think I would much rather use a combination of tactics so that I'm enjoying and I'm crafting my life around as much as maybe I can afford to put away. But I'm not then thinking, oh no, I can't wait till I'm 50, 55 and I can, give up work.
You sent me a meme earlier before this conversation where it was like an old guy who was like, young guy filling his pension, and then it cut to him as old. He's like, great, I got billions in here, but what the fuck am I going to do? My knees are broke. I wish you'd spent it when you were young.
Yeah,
and I think
exactly.
I have to check that. Like, honestly.
I'm always encouraging him to blow his money on me, ideally. We spoke to the plain bagel guy.
Yeah,
did you?
Richard Coffin.
Richard Coffin.
Yeah.
And he was talking all about frugality. I think a lot of people our age, delayed gratification isn't really something that comes with our generation. It's a lot like Instagram, immediate likes, like I want to raise now, I want this now. Everyone wants things like yesterday. So the concept of just living a frugal life so you can enjoy later in life, I don't think.
But we're constantly told, you're not saving enough, save more, save more. So I think there's that kind of contradiction,
exactly.
isn't there?
Basically, there's, everyone's in this kind of juxtaposition where you've got people vomiting their wealth over you 24 hours a day on TikTok, Instagram, going to these incredible restaurants and all the rest of it. And then you've got idiots like me coming onto podcasts being like, oh no, 16% saving rate, just do that. Yeah. So you've got to customize it for you. I think kind of one of the things I always try and do, especially if I speak to anyone younger on a planning sense, is that, okay, you might not be able to save 16% of your income right now, but do you know what's really valuable? Your financial habits. So if I can get you operating and basically adopting really solid financial habits, that compounds. Damien, with your savings rate, you didn't start day one with a really high savings rate. No. That's probably something that improved over time. And that's exactly it. And then one of the things on the video that I did where it started as, that person's running out of money at age 69, this is dreadful. One of the most powerful levers was basically they just, every time they got a bump on their pay scale, they put a percentage aside. So it's little things like that, sound minor, and they do take some discipline, but they can have an enormous impact on how much you actually can save over your life.
Yeah, and so for my personal example, I started, say, like £20, £50 a month or something back in my 20s. And I beat myself up because it wasn't 50, 60%. But like you said, I established a habit, and as my income's grown, the saving rate's grown with it a lot. And it's about having that faith in your own ability long term to earn more money and to improve the situation. And it doesn't mean that you shouldn't start today.
This clip was from an interview with George Agan, financial advisor, all about how to build wealth. For the full interview, click here.